Hello, and welcome to my channel. My name is Shashank, and I'm the person behind the upcoming project Umbrella Man. To tell you a bit more about me, I did a master's in creative digital media and UX, which included a whole semester full of game dev subjects. Following my studies, I worked on a few small projects here and there, but never on a full-fledged project, and I was unsuccessful in getting a job in the gaming industry. Recently, I decided it was now time to apply my knowledge to create a proper big boy project. Let's cut to the chase. I know you can't wait to hear what my project is all about. Well, picture this. In a gloomy industrial town, you're a mysterious cat running away from your past. Having picked up a particular stealthy weapon, an umbrella, you're now your own boss. A hitman who completes missions in order to earn money and survive. Throughout the game, discover your own story, what happened to you, how you ended up in this line of work, and more importantly, your goals. This idea bloomed in my head a few years ago. I lived in Dublin, Ireland for quite some time, and when going and coming back from work, I would always go through a particular alley, a small, dark, empty alley. Very often, I would have an umbrella with me because, if you have ever been to Dublin, it's mostly rainy and grey. In this setting, I started imagining an agent sent to assassinate a target in those scary alleys, using his inconspicuous umbrella to accomplish his mission, and thus Umbrella Man was born. But it will still take him some long time before he's ready to get out in the world. A couple of months ago, after giving it a lot of thought, I decided to make my job part-time in order to give myself more room to achieve my dream, to create my very own game. Oh, and my partner is also giving me a hand with all of this. She does not have a lot of experience, but she's a quick learner and is now a pro in Blender. Since we are kind of broke and do not have the money to sustain ourselves for the amount of time it will take to make the full game, we are taking on a 6-month challenge for creating a workable, fun, and a badass demo in order to raise money either via publisher or through a Kickstarter. Or, of course, if you're a generous Patreon, you're also welcome to get in touch. We would like to now invite you to follow us in this journey on our way to make our own indie game dev dream come true. We will update you guys via shorts, but also via monthly devlogs. And without a further ado, in this first month of working on our game, we have achieved nothing. See you next time. Okay, just kidding. We have actually achieved a lot, but we have also encountered many obstacles since neither of us has a lot of experience. But thankfully, we were able to overcome most problems. I started out my process by determining what kind of world I would like to build. Being a big fan of the Batman the Animated Series and also games such as Bloodborne, I was very attracted to the idea of creating a dark, gloomy, and moody game. I thought that an industrial revolution setting would particularly work for my story too, and would be close to the ambience of Dublin, but also those games and shows I love so much. To add even more nostalgia to the mix, I also decided that the art style of the game would be inspired by the PS1, PS2 game era, but with a modern twist, especially in terms of the gameplay mechanics. Indie games such as Dusk, Gloomwood look so retro and so stylized at the same time, and they have heavily inspired this decision. I decided that the characters of the world would all be anthropomorphic animals. The main character would therefore be a black cat, agile and stealthy. I sketched out his looks on Figma because I work a lot with it for my day job. And then I also drew a couple of his outfits. I wanted to go for a mafia-y look for the game and wanted my character to stand out from the crowd, but also to blend in. Once I was happy with the references, I took them over to Blender and started my process of making him 3D, which was not as easy as it can sound. It took me some time to figure it out, but here we are. Next, I added him into Unreal Engine 5 and we were ready to go. Following a few YouTube tutorials, I made my character walk, run, and jump. For those animations, since we, you guessed it, are not pros, we are currently using pre-made animations that we modify according to our needs. I also tried implementing a sliding mechanic, however, I decided against it since my game would not require it in terms of parkouring, and I was also kind of unsure about the scenarios that would actually need this. Instead, I implemented a simple crouching mechanic. Being a big consumer of the Unreal Engine tutorial videos, I then stumbled upon the squash and stretch concept, which I loved, and decided to add it to my character's jump. Up next, it was high time that I included a ledge grab mechanic so that the player can go further vertically. This took quite a while since I encountered a few animation issues, and also because every tutorial I was finding online was doing it differently than others. In the end, I combined a few methods and found a way that worked best for me. Sometime after I started, as you know, my partner joined me in this venture, and she has been a game changer as I really suck at research and documenting. And well, she's French, cringe. So she's really good at that.
What an introduction. No pressure. Okay, I'll take it from here. So, I started my new job by looking into all the references we'll be using for our game. Games like Thief, Hitman, Dishonored, and shows like Full Metal Alchemist and Batman the Animated Series. And I even got to watch a good few episodes for research purposes, of course. Back at the start of this year, I thankfully got into a Blender course and learned how to model things, which is now coming in handy. So I started modeling a few things on Blender. I made 2 basic character bodies that can be used to fasten up the process of making NPCs. This allowed me to create our very first NPC, a Ram Lady. Yes, that is her name, and I know it makes no sense, but I refuse to change it. I also made a factory building in a low poly style, and I tried to paint it, but that is not my strong suit, and it will have to be revisited later. In terms of writing, Shashank already had an idea of what he wanted the story to be. After talking it out with him to get more precise ideas, I wrote everything down and also wrote down characteristics. That's a tongue twister. But I'm afraid we cannot share all this at the moment because spoilers! We also decided that the first level we will be presenting to you all will take place around docks. With this decision made, I created another NPC, a little fishy in a tank. I also painted him and gave him a couple simple animations for now.
Okay, so I'm back again. While Mathilde was busy doing her research and 3D modeling, I wanted to start creating the main hook, or should I say weapon of the game, the umbrella. Yup, you heard that right. After creating some rough sketches, I went to Figma to draw a few concepts for the umbrella weapon. I then again took the concepts to Blender to start working on the 3D model. Honestly, I was shit scared as I knew animating the umbrella to open and close was going to be hell. Again, I looked at some tutorials on YouTube to find out the easiest way. Luckily, after going through a good few, I finally found one which didn't include using any bones for the animation. The video covered making the umbrella using different modifiers and drivers for animating it. I was super happy to have made the umbrella in like an hour, only to realize that I couldn't export it properly due to the modifiers and drivers. Well, I was demotivated and thought of just purchasing an asset online instead to keep it simple. But that was before I figured out a solution thanks to my friend ChatGPT. I learned about shape keys and that I can just use them to make the umbrella open and close on Blender. With my newfound knowledge and the lessons from that video, I combined everything together and finally made the model work. Yay! I then created some basic open and close animations for the umbrella, added them on Unreal Engine 5 and was also able to modify the model on the engine thanks to the shape keys, or should I say morph targets, which is just the Unreal Engine 5 term for the shape keys. Up next, I added my weapon to my character's hands, and doesn't he look like a Bond killer? I then added the sheath and unsheath animations such that the player is ready to fight. This took quite a bit of refining to get it all working correctly. Since the game's gonna be a stealth game, I was constantly thinking about what mechanics can and cannot work. I love the social stealth mechanic from the Ask Creed games and wanted to implement something like the blend-in mechanic from AC1. Since I planned to make most of the missions take place during a night setting or a rainy setting, I thought maybe simply opening the umbrella could look kind of cool for blending in. Thanks to the morph targets and some open-close animations, I implemented this mechanic such that when the player holds the trigger button, the cat will open the umbrella and walk normally to blend in. I also made it such that it was different from the unsheath mechanic and that it works no matter if the player has the umbrella in his right hand or not. I also made a few minor adjustments like the player can't run and jump when blending in. So this is everything we have to say for this devlog. This took a bit over a month to accomplish and we have now made even more progress and are excited to share it with you guys soon. If you're interested in our project, you can subscribe to our channel and turn on the notifications and you won't miss anything we post. Don't forget to like this video, comment and share. And on that note, see you next time.